Yeah. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Let's find out what happens when we wash it off. Hey, studio pals. Welcome back to the channel. I have a confession to make. I've never used a rotary system on a laser engraver in my entire life. This thing from WeCreate, we are still using the WeCreate Vision Pro, and it turns out it's a pretty decent system. I'm having a good time running tiles on it. I'm having a good time running things like stone and slate. So I like it for that. So this thing came with the version they sent me. I'm not sure if it comes with all the versions, but it is their, well, that's their rotary system. And it literally attaches to the side of the machine. And then you've got your support over here. This thing is frightening to me. I'm not used to using rotaries, but I do like the way that this chuck grabs the, see if you can see it, grabs the tumblers and mugs and whatnot from on the inside. Now, it comes with lots of other teeth and prongs and things in order to do it the opposite direction, but this is how it comes standard. So we're going to install this onto the WeCreate Vision Pro, and we're going to do some interesting things with some things that I'm going to go to Walmart and purchase right now. So I checked out the studio and realized I didn't really have anything to use for the rotary. So we're going to Walmart and pick up some regular white coffee cups and maybe some tumblers and maybe some glass to try out too. So yeah. So after our trip to Walmart, I got a few things. Got these basic clear glass Coca-Cola style, cola glasses. Yield cheap steel tumblers because I've never done one before, and this will be interesting. We're going to try that on the rotary. There's a couple of them. Then I got what is basically a standard white glazed coffee cup. These are super cheap. I'm going to try the Norton white tile technique on these and let the rotary, spin these and see if I can't get something to go all the way around these in the Norton white tile titanium style. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm going to use this inverted marking spray on the actual glasses just to see if I can get it to mark through this. I think this is water-based, roughly. Yeah, water-based formula. And I think this is going to act a lot like tempera paint. Let's just hope it does. Look at that. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And then good old-fashioned cold galvanizing sprayers. We're just trying to etch into the glass. That's nice and even too. So we've got those sprayed with our titanium mixture. I always put 2 coats on these guys, so those will get 2 coats. And then these guys, this is fantastic. It is basically, the inverted marking spray, but this is the red stuff. It doesn't have any titanium in it to my knowledge, and it's the water-based stuff. So I'm thinking this is going to act really similar to tempera paint, which is what people are just raving about on glass. So I'm going to remove the knife plates out of the bottom of our Vision Pro and get those out of the way because they can't stay in there with the rotary, and I'm going to go ahead and use a vacuum and get rid of all this debris, these wooden pieces, so that the bottom pan is nice and clean for when we install it. Now there are 2 screws that are removed and 1 hole in the middle. I've already removed the screws. And take your rotary system, and you'll notice it has this big steel prong right in the middle. You put that over the center hole and just let it set over that rail to the side. And then you take your screws that you took out and you just put them back in and tighten them. It's a hex wrench, and it's usually the standard size of one of these green ones that you usually get given to you when you buy a laser engraving system. Tighten those down until it's nice and free moving. Now, this cord has something interesting about it, or at least the one that I got. You're supposed to put it in this rail down here. And when I put mine in this rail down here and try to fit it in snugly, it won't fit into the plug. So I'll have to actually take out the cable so that there's enough room. Make sure that it's pointing the right way, and when you plug it in, make sure your system is completely turned off from the back. Oh, I almost forgot. This is the jack that sits at the far end of like a larger or taller tumbler, and that's to support it so it won't pop back out of the chuck. And it has a little set screw that you can raise and lower these wheels so that they can be firmly applied. Now, we take the tape measure and we get the circumference of it by looping it around and then looking at the centimeters, which converts to millimeters by tens, and so it'll be somewhere like 240 millimeters. But you can actually use a pair of calipers. Now, if you look at this, you can see I've added these fingers because the grabbing rubber of the chuck won't go on the inside of this. Now we're inside of WeCreate's Make It software, and after it launches into its primary page, just go ahead and hit New Project. And our new project comes up, and it should refresh the visual on the camera, and there it is. Now, that's not what we want. What we want is to go up here next to the start button to where it says laser flat, this button, and we're going to click on that, and it's going to give us some options, and one option is laser cylindrical. You click that, and instantly it shows you something a lot different. It shows you a non-working area and the area that's going to be etched in a perpendicular kind of format. It also talks about, how to do that up here. Just click that off because that's what we're doing. I'm going to select my material, and since there's no glass setting, I'll go ahead and just select stone or ceramic. Now let's just pick this center one, this coated blue ceramic, because we'll probably be resetting this inside the software. Once you've got that selected, it'll automatically refresh the camera view, and that's more about what we want. Now you'll notice that the cylindrical area isn't very wide next to that non-working area, so this is where we enter our circumference. This is the perimeter. You'll see that it has increased the size of our working area. Go down to import over here on the left hand side, and I'm just going to place my company's logo right there. I think it's right in here, and it comes in too large, and I shrink it down. Now I'm going to go over here into the matrix, and this is the blue ceramic cup, and I don't like any of these settings really. 100 looks like it's a little bit too strong. Here's 78, that's not too bad, but I'm not really sure where this should be for etching a glass mug, so I'm going to be throwing caution here and pulling this down to maybe 65, and then I'm going to go ahead and set the speed up from that to probably like, I don't know, 120, 119, 100 somewhere. Yeah, why not? That's close. That looks all right for me. Checking out all of this, let's go ahead and look at our layers. Yep, there's just one image. Now that image came through as a bitmap image, but it's basically just a black and white image, so I don't think we have to worry about our settings. I'm going to go ahead and just hit start and take a look at what we've got. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead and probably frame this and hit send. There we go. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Let's find out what happens when we wash it off. I'll dry it off and show you guys a little bit. Okay, we are back inside of Make It software. I'm going to refresh and we'll see our Norton white tile mug sitting inside the chuck. Go back over to laser flat, click on it and select laser cylindrical. And we get our perpendicular format and our non-working area. I'm going to go ahead and type in the perimeter, or the circumference of the item right now. I think it was 265. Now, if you need to use the diameter, you can. It'll refresh itself as soon as you enter that setting, or that measurement. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of working area here. So what I ended up doing was extending this mug down with prongs. But first I'm going to go ahead and load the image. And it's my Viking kitty cats that Ruth developed. And I'll go ahead and refresh this after I size this, and you'll see where the mug actually moves down. Like right there. It gives me some extra space, and it did that because I actually used the steel prongs that go inside of the chuck. And it's still saying it's really close, but we're going to go ahead and say yes, we don't care, it's really close. We'll go ahead and confirm that because it's not touching, and as long as it's not touching, it will etch. And we'll zoom in here. We can see where that's going to be. I'll hit framing, and you'll see where it actually frames the mug. I've got it right, across from the handle. We'll go ahead and it looks good. I'm going to go ahead and send this. That looks awesome. Okay, everybody, the last one, the one you've probably all been waiting for. We've already got our steel tumbler in the chuck, and we've refreshed our camera view after hitting laser cylindrical. We see this is the area we're dealing with, and I've got the perimeter set for 265. I believe that's where we need to be. Go ahead and hit import, get your image. And once again, my company logo. Gonna go ahead and shrink it down. Now I could just hit the outline or trace function and use a vectorized version of this, but it's neither here nor there. It's gonna come out the same. Go ahead and resize it as far up as I can. I like this software because it automatically, shows you where the center is. I'm going to select my material. This time we actually have metal. I'll click metal, and lo and behold, there's stainless steel tumbler black. All convenient and ready for you. So that's got all of our settings in place right now. I select the image and I'll see where it's at. It's a bitmap, so we know that. Power is at 100. I'm going to leave that because of how dynamic this etch is going to be. I usually don't like to leave things at 100. I like to pull them down, but here's our matrix, and I'll go here and you can see we're at 100% power at 250 speed. It's going to clear all of that black anodization off of that steel, and that's about what we want right there. You could play around with different settings, but this is right about where it needs to be. Density. I'm going to go ahead and hit the image processing. Just because it is an image, it doesn't have to be. And I think I'm going to increase the resolution a little bit. This is 254, which is odd. I'm going to go ahead and just type in 300 there, make it a little bit better. And I left it at Jarvis. I could have just made it threshold. It probably would have worked a little bit better. And so we're ready. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. We'll get an image. It's really hard to see the tumbler against that black background. If you put a piece of white paper back there, it might work better. We'll go ahead and frame it and hit send. Okay, so sorry about the lasers going in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear them or not. For that being my very first time using a rotary on any laser engraver whatsoever, I think the results are absolutely fantastic. Let me show you a few of them. This was the red marking spray. It's basically the exact same stuff that I use that I used to use for doing the Norton white tile technique, the white marking spray, the water-based white marking spray. This wasn't the white. Don't get the white. It's got titanium in it. This will go black. But the red is almost indistinguishable from tempera paint, and everybody says, "Oh, tempera paint's the way to go," and so that's the deal. And it is smooth. I mean, even this little eyeball came out. Yeah, fantastic effect. So there's a tip for you. Go get that stuff instead of having to try to paint your tempera paint or stuff on there. And then we tried cold galvanizing spray. Now, cold galvanizing spray we've had an issue with. You can check out this video where I attempt to use the cold galvanizing spray as the Norton white tile technique using the zinc in the spray instead of the titanium. It doesn't work that well. It fades over time. But we used it on this, and the glass fell off of the chuck because I don't know what I'm doing. And it's still kind of cool, even though the effect that I got from it being, cockeyed. But I don't like the effect of the metallic black on there. Obviously, I've had something white to show you behind it. It just doesn't come off as good as the etch. Well, it is etched, but it doesn't come off as good as, say, the white frosted etching, or the like you would put an acid etch or something on it, or sandblasting. But that worked great. Then we tried the Norton white tile technique with my chemistry from this video on some of these cheap Walmart cups that we purchased. And now here's a hint. If you go to Michael's or some of those other stores, you can buy a set of these white cups, but they are sublimation cups. They are meant to print the sublimation print, colored printings on them. say from Cricut, color printer. You can buy them. Don't use those. Go and get something that's ceramically glazed. Ask the potter how he knows. But yeah, man, that just floored me how well that worked. This is a design my wife did off of a kitty cat that her sister had, and she did a Celtic knot of it. That's a Ruth Briggs original, Corvus Moon Studios. But anyway, that came out great. And of course, this is the Norton White tile technique, so you ain't gonna hurt that ever. Kitty's okay. Yeah, fantastic. I've never done that before. Have you ever done that before? Norton White tile technique on a cup. I think this was $1.20. Yeah, go to the dollar store. I'm sure they have these. And then, of course, what people have been making a small fortune with over time, tumblers. That's the first tumbler I ever did. Now, there are some issues. Not with this one. He's fantastic. That's my logo, of course, Moon Studios logo. That came out great, and that was just using the presets inside the Make It software, to where, yes, it's this, a stainless steel tumbler, and you just let it go. It almost does it itself, and this is very easy to set up. In fact, this particular rotary doesn't give you the option to do this with it. So you kind of have to do that. That being said, that didn't come out too bad. You just have to, give caution to the wind and assume that much of an angle isn't going to be bothering it so much. Now, I suggest measuring this point instead of that point, because then it's going to get funky. Right here is, I think, where I measured it, because you have to measure the circumference around the object. Now, I wasn't measuring the circumference around the object with the tape measure they give you. It's a lot easier just to use your calipers, people, and go, oh, my diameter is that big. They give you both settings, and then they fill in each other in the software. But yeah, that didn't come out too bad. It's a little odd down at the bottom, but that's about, I don't know, there's about a 10% difference there, 15% difference there in attitude. So yeah, that still worked really good. I'm totally impressed. Once again, the We Create Vision Pro and its rotary system is working out quite well for me. Smash that like button. Post a comment below, really helps the channel out. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell notification icon so that all of you guys will know that I posted a new video, because there's a lot of you out there. Whatever you're doing, however you want to manufacture or create things, keep making things, because it's cool. Catch you next time. From We Create, you guys, I got cats fighting right below me here. What are you playing with? You're playing with the emery board? Evie's playing with a fingernail emery board. Oh, another country I heard from. What, Zira? Hi.